So now the recording started. Yeah, hi everyone. Good morning and good evening to every one of you. So since every one of like this is SAP IBP demo session, and we are starting the consecutive training after this one. And this session is going to be equally important because this is going to be a stepping stone for the upcoming sessions. So the agenda of today's session is basically we are going to understand the functionalities, little bit of overview and benefits, and how we are going to uh, you know uh, this IBP is going to be helpful for the clients, and who are the participants. I mean to say, which are the consultants of SAP are going to be beneficial with respect to the career perspective. So everything we are going to discuss in detail here. We have Raghu with us. He is basically is a solution architect. Okay, he's having more than 18 years of experience altogether in SAP, and he's working in SAP IBP since its inception. In the sense, like since it started, so he's part of IBP from the beginning itself. Okay, so he's a very knowledgeable person, and he has trained so many participants so far. Okay, and we have a very unique methodology of training as well, which we are going to discuss shortly. Let Raghu starts the demo session, and for the since there are more number of participants, so we don't want to be very crowded here in terms of everyone is speaking. So we have muted from our end to everyone. Okay, please note down all your queries whenever in between the session any of your the queries are coming. Please make a note of those queries. We'll be having enough of time after the presentation. You need to raise your hands, and we are going to unmute one by one so that the whole demo session is going to be in a very proper and organized way. So every one of you will be getting proper time to answer to get the answer of their queries. Okay, guys. So please cooperate. Thank you so much. Raghu, over to you. I'll be here only. Okay, guys. If you are having any very important question, you can even put it in the chat box also. We'll be addressing simultaneously. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. Thank you, Eraj. Uh, so I will now just want to confirm you're all able to see my screen, right, Eraj? Is it yes?
Yes, 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 Raghu. We can see your screen very clearly. Yeah, the presentation
Great.
slide is there. You can see that.
Okay.
You can proceed. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, hi all. Welcome to today's session. So today I will brief more about SAP IBP, which is the new solution offerings by SAP. So we will also know about a few important aspects what makes SAP IBP as the next important planning tool and what are the different advantages it brings. So we will start with how our trainings are firstly planned, and then probably I will also go further to describe how SAP IBP is making a difference in the different industries. So for that, first I will come to the agenda. So we start with a gap analysis, people. So a gap analysis is briefs about what are the different prerequisites which are needed for us. So probably in the context of planning point of view, there would be some people who have already experience with planning tools like SAP APO, or there can be people who have experience with execution systems like you say SAP PP, SAP SD, or MM. So this and so there are few important topics which briefs about how the planning is enriched. It briefs also about how are we going to enrich our awareness about these new offerings of SAP IBP. What is the difference SAP IBP brings onto the table when we compare it with the older technologies what we have, and how it is different, how it is adopting. So those are the few important questions which will make to ourselves to realize how what is the reason that makes SAP IBP as the next look forward tool for multiple clients. Okay, so we have gap analysis. Then we'll be provided, we have further on the topics of the detailed training content. My coordination team they should have already sent you, or they will be providing you the training content which briefs about what are the different topics which will be covered, people. Followed by there's another important aspect which is user story. Now, when we go to the user story, so we see that there are different types of planners who are involved. The planners, you speak about a shop floor engineer or a production manufacturing executor, or we speak about a sales marketing head. And so there are different planners who are involved in the whole supply chain process. So how SAP IVP it brings a one single tool which is able to collaborate with different planning team, at the same time how it is bringing the insights of each planner's insights to the global presence, right? So that is how it is making possible. What are the different modules of IBP? We will take more deep dive of it in today's discussion. So starting with the need of a new tool. Now, already we had SAP ECC, SAP APO, which were the tools which are already available. So there should be one small reason that makes SAP to come up with new offerings, right? Like let us say, for example, SAP IBP. So SAP IBP, it has the significance of using SAP HANA database. It's a cloud solution. So it's where you are able to access the information or the data from anywhere, anytime, and also from any devices. Now SAP IBP is a latest version of planning tool. So it has both Excel interface, Web UI interface. So we are gonna see how SAP IBP would look like. It has the features of SAP Fiori applications, how it is going to make the user experience more enriched. People, we are going to see that. At the same time, we will also try to realize that SAP IBP is bringing up new features by which the planners are also able to achieve the planning more easier way. So we will see something called SAP IBP Excel add-on. We will also realize that how SAP IBP is increasing the efficiency of the planners by bringing a new interface altogether, which is the first preliminary step what made them to be the pioneers in the context of planning. So we'll also realize that how SAP IBP is making a difference. Okay. Now we coming to the SAP IBP, it's a cloud-based planning technology, as I mentioned earlier. So we will also know about the planning accuracy people. So the older technologies which we have been using since I would say more than 15 or 20 years, the accuracy point of view, we are still lagging behind. So what SAP has thought is, let us, why shouldn't we adopt to the new technologies? For example, AI. AI stands for artificial intelligence. Now, adoption of new technologies like AI will not only bring an advantage to make the data processing or data mining more accurate, but also at the same time trying to make this digitalized world. Now, we speak about the digitalized world, and we also realize that the different functions which are needed for the digitalized world, they also need to adopt to these new technologies. Let us take an example. If I speak about a 15 or 20 years back, where we speak about the habits of buying, so probably we have a very less awareness about a product. We have a very less scope of going for different variants. Probably if I speak about a mobile phone example, people, so you would say that, okay, Raghu, probably 15 or 20 years back, probably if I have to buy a mobile phone, I will go for a showroom, and probably he would have already cased it already, and I would pick it up. Maybe hardly I have an opportunity to select a color. But think about now, people, how the whole transformation is now. So you know the product awareness, you know the features of it, you know what are the different variants you can get, and also you know what are the different competitors who are already available in the market. So we speak about an e-commerce sites, people. We speak about online window shopping, so which of course requires a different extent of planning, and also it requires a different extent of realization of what could be the predictions for the new products. In order to make this as a robust technology, so SAP has brought up with this some future predictions which are more reliable and at the same time robust with the technologies like AI. So how AI associated technology can be adopted by an ERP solution like SAP, we are going to realize when we are further going to deep dive on how SAP IBP has brought few important, you say about the planning algorithms, we speak about the way of adoption of the data processing techniques, which makes it a very unique thing. Okay, so not only the advantage of cloud, but also a planning tool which is able to adopt to the new technologies like AI makes SAP a very unique product for most of the clients. Okay, so the accuracy point of view, if I say out of 10 units, the production which earlier used to happen, we would say okay, around 6 to 7 units they were predicted accurately. So the accuracy point of view also they had a lot of challenges. So we will speak about some aspects of sales and operations people, how a whole sales and operations planning can be enriched. So people from execution system, you already know what are the different challenges they would undergo. We speak about Raghu, we speak about the collaboration, Raghu, we speak about the planning overview or realization of the planning changes was not an easy task. So how SAP is bringing up this advantage, what are the different modules of SAP IBP which can leverage the advantage of it is also what we are going to realize people. So there was of course a need for a new technology to come right in the context of adopting to new technologies like AI, or also we have some other technologies like cloud-based planning, and also adoption of a few more new upcoming technologies we speak about. For example, we have digital manufacturing cloud, DMC. We have yard management, which are also new upcoming technologies in the context of execution system. So how can we adopt to these technologies? SAP IBP is a one planning tool which gives an offering for adopting of the new technologies which are expected in the next 5 to 10 years of time in order to adopt to this. So all it has the necessary tools or necessary architecture which it can support. So now let me introduce you what are the different modules of SAP IBP. Say starting with SAP IBP for demand planning, followed by SAP IBP sales and operations planning, and SAP IBP supply chain control tower, and SAP IBP inventory management, SAP IBP supply and response planning, and SAP IBP for DDMRP and shelf life based planning. So while we realize the classification of modules, we see it's not only going to support the long term planning people but also mid term and short term planning. Okay, a one single tool which can support for these three extensive horizons of planning, yes, SAP IBP is useful to do that. So selection of which associated modules a planner would need to do that, we will, when once we go further to the deep dive of these people, we have a user story which brings about the industries like the life sciences, the chemicals, and these are the industries which have a lot of changes, and we all are aware how was the situation in 2 years back, like in the COVID, where there was an adoption of technology, there was a need of adoption of what is the best way how I can fit to the whole different regions for the you speak about the production, you speak about the supply, you speak about the procurement, all of this is different challenges people which were not predicted, but still there were multiple companies who were able to manage. So if they want to make a robust solution, so of course SAP IBP is one of the offerings which of course they are going to use. So in those type of typical situations, how planning makes a lot of difference in all the process. We speak about material planning, we speak about the production planning, we speak about the procurement planning, all of this how it is going to be managed, what are the different methodologies we have, what are the different features we have, we will realize once we further deep dive on each of these modules, their significance they have in the context of planning, and also how do they make a difference in the context of the different features they possess for the planner's point of view. So most of the ERP solutions they have been chosen because of the ease of their planning. So SAP IBP, as I was mentioning, it not only has a web-based planning, so we all have seen SAP GUI, we also refer it as people, but SAP has completely modified, renovated into a two new interfaces, which we say it as SAP Web UI planning, and also we say SAP Excel UI planning. So how do we make them? How do we connect it? So there are a lot of interesting things which I will also wish to share with you. And how do we also use SAP IBP system? We'll also do a certain demonstration of system to also realize that the different potential functionalities of SAP IBP. So this is just a quick view of how would an SAP IBP system would look like people. So this is portraying the different theory applications. It is also portraying and SAP Excel UI. So on the top, what you are which we are able to see, it's a portrait of how SAP IBP would look like in an Excel view. We will also realize the same in our system, people, and also this is the way how it is looking in the context of web UI. Now, will, what is the advantage it brings to a planner's point of view? So we all know that we used to use the transactions if we have to realize the certain important navigations, or maybe as a planner I should be also aware how can I start using SAP Easy Access in order to view the different transactions. But now a planner can modify his screen. A planner can make his own transaction names or his own theory application names, and also the planner can customize his screen with what are essentially needed for him as a favorites. So there are a lot of different functions and features available, people, that make the user or the planner more uh, easy to understand how can he start using it. It's not more technical driven. When I speak about the older systems, so awareness about the transaction is important for him in order to do his functions, but it is no more needed, people, because it's a self-explanatory. And you also know there are certain important information which is already pictorial before he would log into the theory app. Maybe for example, if you all can observe the screen, you see that it has something called planning filters. He don't have to investigate how many of them are available, but rather he can see right on the front of the screen. And then if he wants to take the more details of it, he can go further onto it, right? So this is the way it makes more ease of realization of data for a planner. Questions for me? Okay. SAP IBP, if you all observe on the screen, we will also realize in the system, people. So it has different modules like SAP uh, IBP for demand planning or supply chain control tower inventory, and also supply and response. So there are associated different applications available or different features available which can be used by the planner. So how do we realize that how is something called grouping is doable? So if a client has a situation of using more than say one module, how is he going to realize? So we will also going to do that with a case study, or we say it as user stories, people. The user story will reflect the real-time problem statement, and then realize how the tool with the different features it possesses is going to help us in the solving of the problem. That's the way how we will realize the usage of SAP IBP right in the consideration of the problem statement, and then realization of it, the different methodologies it possesses. So in order to have a quick questionnaire of why SAP IBP as a next generation planning tool. So here we are presenting what are the different industries which have already started using SAP IBP, and also a few important reasons or few important features of SAP IBP that makes it to be the first planning tool which has been adopted across the globe. Let me start with the industries. So we speak about the process, discrete, FMCG, mill and mining industries. They have already heavily started using IBP implementation, people. And speaking about the integration capabilities, as I was mentioning, SAP IBP is a cloud-based technology adopted planning tool. It has a very huge integration capacity capabilities. So what are the different technologies it has? So the context of technologies, we have something called CPIDS, which stands for Cloud Platform Integration Data Services. It's a complete platform which has different offerings which are made available for SAP IBP, which is a cloud based. And then we have AI, as I was mentioning, and it's a cloud by itself, and also HANA. So these are the different technologies by which it is able to make the integration more possible. So we can connect this SAP IBP system. We speak about a HTML screens. Yes, it is possible. You want to connect it to the shop floor with different MES systems, or we speak about the on-premise cloud systems, it is possible. So there are different APIs which are already in place. We will speak about also those APIs. We will also realize that SAP IBP has the forevision about the need for adopting to the new ways of connections of systems. Like we speak about connection of SAP IBP to the social media networks, we speak about Facebook. So connection to this type of networks was not possible with the older versions for sure. So, but now, as the need of data, we speak about exchange, or we speak about extraction of data. So there is a need for the clients to also get connected to these different types of systems. So making the system ready for this type of adoptions is also done because of the adoption of CPIDS, Cloud Platform Integration Data Services by SAP. Then what are the different advantages we also see is about the web UI and Excel UI and single sign-on and Fiori applications. So these are the different other important reasons that makes the user experience more effective, and also the functions like custom algorithms, quick upgrades, data load functionalities, and navigation assistance. These are the different other features and functions that are being highly appreciated by the clients from these different industries, and which was again had a very strong, I would say, planners feedback that made them to proceed further for the new features to be added for every release. So if you are all aware, for your information, for every 3 months, SAP IBP comes with a new version. So you would say that okay, for every 3 months, it is going to be an improvement of the tool. Yes. So that makes SAP IBP a very unique one. So for every 3 months, people we will see new features being added. So we will also speak further how are we going to adapt to those features while we further go into the deep diving of the discussions. We'll also realize how SAP is making this an automation process, how it is trying to adapt to this new platform of technologies being added, and further other different information as we further deep dive into the topics of how do we start implementing SAP IBP in the client's uh, overall landscape. So yes, a cloud platform integration services, which is an advanced data mining options, what it possesses of. So it also is one of the important advantage SAP IBP comes, where it is not only bringing the advantage of uh, managing of different source systems or target systems, how the data has to be pulled or pushed, and also it is trying to help the clients to see how quick or the data can be bought. So we have something called RTI, real-time data integration, which is again a new feature or functionality which is made possible with SAP IBP, by which it's like real-time data integration people. So speak about in an execution system, I do a sale or the punching, and relevant to this information, if it has to be posted to SAP IBP, it is doable now. So we will all know that okay, when we are two different systems, Raghu, there's every time an opportunity that the data is going to be a mismatch or the data has to be updated on a very frequent basis. So now it's not a very tedious job because SAP IBP has cloud platform integration where the data is being updated or executed with a very fast uh, data load features and functions that makes it to a real-time data integration. So we will speak more about how these two different features are achievable and more about it in the further discussions. So as I was mentioning that we do our uh, different user stories, we speak about the different players who are involved. We speak about the different challenging statements they are processing, and also we realize that how these different uh, players who are involved in the context of planning, what are the different challenges they undergo, how SAP IBP is going to offer. So we will also do the different user stories people in the process of realization of the different challenges we undergo in the context of planning. So we are referring to the planning, so it also has the processes of make, it has the processes of procurement, it has the processes of production, it has the processes of delivery, it has the process of returns, and also it has the processes of enablement. There are a lot of different processes involved, different planners who are involved. So one single solution which can enable or which can give the platform to connect or collaborate to all of them is doable with the help of SAP IBP. So uh, I will stop the screen share for a moment now to quickly also see SAP Fiori UI interface. Okay, Shreyas, can you please confirm is the screen visible already?
Yes, yes, it's visible. We can see the
Great,
system access.
great. Okay. So people, so currently we are observing SAP IBP Web UI. So as I was mentioning that we have wonderful theory applications available and they are been arranged expecting to the different planners who are involved. So it's going to be a very user friendly and also it has different features and functions what it can be useful for, and we will realize that each of these features and functions they are made more easier, user specific, and also it is customizable. So I was referring to a situation where probably I want to make my own fairy app. Yes, we can do it. We also refer it as tiles, where I can make my own tiles to be created that makes my plan as a planner's point of view a customized screen people. So if I say that probably I want to manage the navigation of this theory tiles in a different fashion, I can do it. Or if I say that probably I want to do a shift of the color and all, which is much more easier, people, just for a quick realization. For example, I would say the color point of view. Uh, I want to do a modification. So you can see that it has a quick change to the planning, the whole screen visualization point of view. How about the different apps to be visible to me? So here you all can see a planner can have a quick understanding of each of the apps. For example, I'm going to pick one of the Fiori app, manage ABCXYZ. So there is no need for the planner to know uh, the technical brief of it, but probably he can also know by himself. Like for example, I'll take something this fashion. What is this app for? And system would give me a quick information about this specific Fiori app, what is the advantage it brings, what is the purpose of this Fiori app, how a planner can start using it, what are the different functions it or features it consists of. All this information is available for the planner. Okay, so how about the specific field-wise information? Yes, we also have it, which we generally have, we will refer it as F1 help in our older SAP offerings people. For example, I'll go here. This is a Fiori app which speaks about planning areas. We will realize more about this each of these functions, how can it be used, and so on. So system is providing us a quick realization of what each of this function means, how it can be used. More details about it can be brought for us right at the screen. So that brings us a very innovative, a creative way of realization of each of its functions. How can I know more about it and other details? So as I was mentioning that SAP IBP, it's not stabilized with all the functions what it has, but it is bringing new, more advanced features and functions, people. So we have a lot of notifications which we will also know about, or we will see that a lot of announcements we will know about to know that these are the new features have been added and start using it. So this is the one of the tool which is trying to adapt to the new changes. So all of you know that okay, once if there's any of the tool or any of the planning system, if it adopts to the changes, you all know that it is going to be a very successful by its planning or its presence, because it is trying to adapt to the changes. So that is what is achievable with SAP IBP. That's the very important reason that makes clients to realization of their landscape with SAP IBP. So this is a quick view, people. So of course we have a lot of other features and functions what we will realize about. So it's for a quick realization. I have took one of the theory apps. So we have a lot of functions which are available. How do we realize them? What are the different situations we will start using them? We'll try to know more about it as we further deep dive to our discussions. So as I promised, I have also SAP IBP Excel UI based planning. So you all can see that this is SAP Excel based planning. Okay, how do I know that it is Excel Raghu? So I'll go to the very initial page. For example, let me open a new tab. So you see this is your normal Excel, people. So you have a complete list, a bunch of features and functions. You all can see it here, and this is the way how SAP has brought a difference, people. So each of this feature and function, how can they be used? How can they be managed in the context of planning? We will realize that as we deep dive into the topics further for each of these different IBP modules, which I have shown you in the previous slide. So not only usage of this tool as a planning, but also in the context of realization, in the context of collaboration. How are we going to use this tool? What are the different features it has? We'll speak more about it in the further discussions, where we will see SAP has have a great orientation for collaboration. I'm going to speak about something called SAP Jam. You people will also realize that this is one of the very useful tool in the context of collaboration. We have seen in our previous client experiences, we used Jira, we used uh, Solution Manager, and we have used different. We speak about Trello, which are the different tools which we have used people for collaboration. But SAP has built such a collaboration tool within the system so that you have a clear transparency of what's continuing, what is the on job which have been processed by each of the objects by the different planners can be realized by us within the same SAP tool. So we'll also realize how SAP Jam is going to be used further when we are going to take the further deep dive of different modules of SAP IBP. Okay, so I will keep into a nutshell about how our training journey is. So as I mentioned, we will start with all the prerequisite people, which we also refer it as gap analysis. So in the context of gap analysis, we will speak about a few important terminologies, or we speak about what are the different architectural wise changes they have brought when we compare it with the older SAP systems which are available for us. So how SAP, not only the planning system but also the execution system, they are able to adapt to these changes. What are the different other additional uh, features which are available for us in order to make this possible? So this is what we are going to realize under this gap analysis discussion, followed by system tool, where we will try to know about the different navigational and also the different tricks, and when we are working with this technology which is with the real-time projects experiences what we have gained, and at the same time We will also speak about the different configurations and transformations which are needed. So where we speak about the different rules we follow, we speak about the different, say, the customization scope people, how do the customization scope is realized in the context of projects where we have to realize the scope of adoption of their current landscape to the new technology. How are we going to do it? Is what we refer it under this configurations and transformation process, followed by assignments and assessments. So assignments will help you to realize more about how these features which are available for us, they can be used. What are the different ways it is achieved in the current legacy system which we are having already, and how it is made more easier is what we realize. And we also have assessments people where we are going to take a few important questionnaires. At the same time, we are also going to give you a quick forms which will help you to realize the adoption of the new features, how can they be done. So in the assessments point of view, our user stories will help us a lot because they are speaking about the real-time problem statement and how can they be used with the different features. Then followed by the very important one, what's new. So to be a market ready consultant, we need to know what is the new features or new changes which have been done to the planning tool, is what we are also going to take into our discussions in our whole training journey. Questions for me? Okay, I'll go. So there are few important resources what you can take back from the from our training. So we will provide you all the participants with the PDF files or the Word documents which are the different user stories which will be built, which can be accessible by you. And also we have a classroom where we will have an online forum where you can post your questions and we can also share the ideations which is possible for us. Then what are the different other resources what you can also get is, of course, you have the essential trainer narrated documents, topic wise assessments and the results, and understanding of case studies to match the aspirant's experience. So these are the few additional things which we will also be doing in the context of this training. Okay. Okay. Raj, are you there already? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, Raghu, I'm here only. So I guess like you have done with the presentation, right?
Yes.
Okay, great then. So guys, as discussed by Raghu, this is not going to be a kind of normal kind of training where you are going to get only the theoretical knowledge. So here we'll be majorly focusing on the scenarios. Okay, completely scenario based training. So if at all you are going to be on board in any project of IBP, it would be very easier for you to take it forward on your own without any other help in any other people's help, I can say. And also this training is going to be cover each and every most of the topics, I can say. So all the topics we are going to cover here, and the idea behind this training is to make you everyone ready for the future projects. And if you any one of you are the aspirants for getting the job in SAP IBP, so that's really going to be very much helpful for everyone. So before we quickly take up the question answer sessions, I really want to show you. Let me check it whether I do have the collaboration which we used to share. Let me share my screen so that it would be a little easier for everyone to get a glance over it, how we are going to work on the collaboration part over here. So here you see guys, I think every one of you can see the screen. every one of you can see my screen. So one second. This is how we are going to share the uh, collaboration of the recordings and other documents. Okay. Yeah. So here in the previous, the batch which we have done it here. Okay. IBP batch. So here all the session recordings are going to be like this. So this session is going to be approximately, 30 to sorry 35 to 40 hours, or around 40 hours of duration, the whole training.
Additional to add to Era's point, people
Hello.
as they are discussing.
Sorry guys, there was some
Yeah.
disturbance. Am I audible to you now clearly,
Yes, 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 Era.
Arvind? Here you
You,
see guys, so we are doing this particular training, means like not this IBP training but other training since 2011 onwards. So we do have almost 11 years of experience. We are carrying forward all the trainings, most of the cloud based trainings also we are carrying forward. And we do have a standard method of doing it, and in our batch, so the batch would be approximately 10 to 15 participants in every batch, and we are taking up all the experienced participants here. Okay, there are no fresher. The questions which are coming here in the discussion are not going to be novice questions. Okay, so all the questions are coming from the experienced participants, so that is really going to be helpful for everyone in the collaboration also. Okay, so these are the quick things, and we are also, at the end of the batch, we are creating the WhatsApp group among all the participants, so that it would be easier for the healthy discussion in the coming days also. Okay. So, Raghu, can we just take up the question answer sessions now?
yeah. So there was one question about on-off campus of SAP ECC. Will IBP work be helpful? Can person with SAP ECC application experience can shift career to IBP? To answer this question, yes. So the you people who with having execution experience also they can adopt to this, and you will have more realization of the new offerings like SAP S4 HANA. How can they be adopted to the planning tools? Yes. So I would say yes, this is the right time for you to start investing in SAP IBP as it is trying to still emerge with new and new features.
Okay. So, Raghu, what I can suggest is we can take up the questions from the people who raise their hands. So, guys, if you want to unmute your mic, you please raise your hands, then we are going to unmute you. Okay. So, first is, I think, Anil Modi. Would you please go ahead with the? You need to unmute yourself and go ahead with your question.
Maybe Kalyan is available. Kalyan?
Yeah, I am available. Am I
Kalyan?
audible now?
Yes, yes, you are audible,
Yeah.
Kalyan.
Yeah, I have a bit more briefer question, so please bear with
Yeah,
me. Uh,
no
I
problem.
have been working in IBP since last 1 year in a support project, uh, and I got awareness on model configurations. So, sorry, yeah, I may take you back for a while. So, I wanted to learn or get exposure on more of the conceptual content, as in, let us say, if it is in demand, we'll
Mhm,
be discussing forecast models, wherein which
mhm,
interquartile variance tests and different other
mhm,
algorithms, forecasting
yeah.
model algorithms. So how
Mhm,
those will fit into business, or as per the business requirements, which algorithms are we are going to pick or decide to configure. And before going to that, will you also take up a session on how to establish the connections between ERP or S4 HANA to IBP, or are we
yeah.
going to directly start from IBP?
Yeah. So thanks for bringing up a very useful question, Kalyan. So as I mentioned, we start with the realization right from the user story where the clients have still not in say SAP IBP. How do we do a realization of it? What are the different steps we follow? Whether we speak about a situation where the client is quite new to SAP IBP, but of course he has the SAP ECC and APO, the transformation of it, or probably the different use cases what we are going to see. How about a client who has a greenfield implementation, a brownfield implementation, right? So how do we do that? So realization of the systems, what are the different features we should start using it, and so on. So of course we will start with those gap analysis which I referred to, and then go into the actual training content. So that's the way how we will do.
So that gap analysis, will it consist of configuring the whole
Also
system as an
configuration of.
interface,
Yeah,
interface between SAP to IBP, like
correct.
we'll be having, right? And when coming to the supply part, do we cover a scenario-based training, as in some test cases related to heuristic, unconstrained, constrained heuristics, in which we have different more settings like fair
Hmm.
share distribution, carryover negative projected stock. So each one have its own, scenario. So now will we discuss all those scenarios, and can we get some materials or practice materials having some sequence of steps, configurations? So all those, can we expect those things from this training?
Uh, so if I classify this detailed test scripts and all, that is not in this case, because we have a test system which is not which is similar to a standalone system which is not compared to a standard SAP S/4HANA system. So in that case, test script execution is not possible. I should admit this, but yes, a quick awareness of the steps which should be followed in the context of SAP IBP. Yes, you can expect that.
Okay, so in your system, like in our demo system, which we are going to see, and you are
Mhm.
going to share it as a part of training, will that
Correct.
consist of optimizers also, right? Some S&OP optimizer.
It has.
And so there would be some constraints, hard constraints, pseudo constraints, soft constraints,
Sure.
wherein which system will go and check everything and then accordingly will exhibit the results, receipts. So will
Uh,
you brief all those things by maintaining in the master data types and settings and
mhm.
then show us, or is that some theoretically you are explaining the importance of each and everything, and just we can see the end results, which like which type of training scenario it could be when comes to optimizer trainings.
Yeah. So we are not focusing only, especially on only one specific module, Kalyan, just additional to add. So yes, of
No,
course,
no, I am covering everything
we
as a part of bits and pieces. I'm bringing up
okay,
my queries.
okay, okay, sure. So coming to supply, yes, we will speak about optimizer. Also, we'll speak about the heuristics execution point of view. What are the different steps we need to follow? So yeah, that is there. So, but if you speak about each field and all, you all can know that 40 hours it becomes a project training, but rather than a complete awareness program, right? So, but it's not
Right.
about each field wise and each setting and then the simulation of it, but rather an overall view, details about it, and how can that feature and function can be used. That is something what you can expect from us.
The same is applicable for inventory optimization also.
Okay.
Is it a part of our training, inventory optimization? I hope.
Yeah, inventory optimization, we will speak about the basic master data functions. Yeah, that would be the expectation from inventory. So our modules of cover would be SAP IBP demand, supply chain control tower, S&OP, supply, and also we will see the audience if they are also willing for SAP IBP response, because that is a complete again a different model altogether configuration. That will also be an ask separately, but for these three modules, SAP IBP is going to be used for us in our training discussions.
So
Supply,
it was
sales and
initially in one
operation,
of the
demand.
screenshots.
Yeah,
Yeah, shall I? Uh,
please
yeah,
continue.
in one of the screenshots I saw in the training contents wherein which shelf life is a part of the point. So are we
Correct.
discussing that also?
We will discuss about it. We will discuss also
Mm.
about the shelf life based associated topics, but we will not go to the complete deep dive people. So as you all know, so all the depending on the usage of point of view, not all clients would use shelf life planning. But yes, and a complete awareness about it is a useful topic. So we also brought this additionally to our curriculum.
Okay, so basically we'll be discussing on time series based plannings, not order based, I guess.
Yeah, it is also there, but we have to configure it with if any specific business point of view they want it to be required to be added, the training content can be added. But as of now, it's more focused on time series only.
Okay, that's all from my end. Thank you.
Right. I think Anil Modi
One
is trying
second.
to
One
unmute.
second. Yes, yes, yes. So before we proceed, I just want to add a few things to Kalyan's queries here. So Kalyan, you see, we are trying to cover most of the topics, like almost will try to cover all the topics in our upcoming trainings. Okay, and 40 hours is the constraint. Okay, in which sometimes as we are we are expecting the participants here are from majorly from APO background or any other background. So it would be really impossible for us to show each and every field of it sometimes. Okay, so by seeing the fields, you guys will be smart enough to understand what exactly is going to be. And but from our end, we'll try our best to cover most of the things. And there are certain constraints with respect to the access which will be using it here as the demo system. Okay, and whichever the constraints are there, even for the real-time integration and kind of things, so that will happen only one time. Okay, so for next time if you want to do it, then again the whole system need to be redo. So all these things will be covering very well in a documented way, which are very small part of it, but major part we are going to cover everything in detail. And our main intention over here is going to be make you as a you know near to an IBP consultant where you can start working on any project. So that is our main intention over here. Okay, thank you. So guys, what I'm going to do here is let me unmute everyone. One second, just a second. Okay, so guys, I guess like you can unmute yourself. Can you just unmute yourself? Anil, can you just unmute yourself? Kalyan, you just mute yourself. I think those who are having any queries, you can put it in the chat window also. So there are certain queries are there in the chat window. Raghu, I'm going to read it for you. Yeah, Kalyan was there. Yeah, training material will be sharing to you. Training contents will be sharing to you, Kalyan. So one of the campus SAP ECC on off campus SAP ECC will IBP work slash be helpful. Can person with SAP ECC application experience shift career to IBP?
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, so you can shift
Yeah,
to this new career opportunity. So it's a new to market, and also for the context of planning and execution, it brings a difference people. So this is the right time for you to start
yeah.
investing
So
in
there
IB.
is one question which is frequently coming here is what are the prerequisites to learn IBP?
So prerequisites of IBP will cover in our gap analysis people. So you you come with the execution experience also still it is fine because we are still going to cover it in our gap analysis discussion. If you have already experience with planning uh, experience, so it's going to be a value added advantage. If not, yes, you can still uh, come with your execution experience also.
Yes. So what all different learning or career can be expected from IBP, like developer, UI, functional testing, etc. This is asked by Jagan.
So IVP provides you functional experience for sure, functional experience because it is going to have a end-to-end visibility, what we refer it to, Jagan. So probably you will see the different connections from different processes. So functional experience is, of course, it's going to be enriched. Coming to testing, yes, you have additional career aspirations. Like for example, you can also, if you want to also deep dive, if you come with the technical experience. So CPI technical consultant with experience or understanding of IBP is one of the niche requirements in the market now. The reason being integration holds a lot of new job opportunities, or I would say it's like currently it's the new opportunity stream where there are very less people, because people, they are available with technical experience people, but realization of the system like IBP is completely new. So only an awareness about how IBP works, what are the different features of it and functions of it, and then the technical aspirations of it brings you or makes you a very unique niche skilled guy in the market.
Yes, very good, Raghu. Once again, I think there is some issue is happening for the people to unmute themselves. Let me try once, Raghu. Okay, 1 second. Huh? I'm muting everyone and unmute everyone. 1 second. Huh? I guess everyone got muted now, so I'm going to unmute everyone. Just a second, guys. Yeah. So, guys, I guess like you can unmute yourself. Anil, would you please try from your end? Unmute yourself and try.
Hi, Erad and Raghu.
Anil, you.
This is Santosh.
Yeah, yeah. Hi, Santosh. Please go ahead.
Yeah, are you going to cover the integration part in this training with respect to the auto series, especially?
Yeah, we will speak about important steps we will have to follow when we are going to work with SDI. So that's the scope of our discussion.
Although SDI
Okay, there
is
is one more.
obsolete, so are we going to cover the RTI as well in this training, or is it only confined to SDI?
It's only confined to SDI, as you know. RDI is still in the roadmap, so there are few more changes which are already happening, and we have our new webinar with SAP already, which is planned for the next month. So it's not a fully matured product. RDI is already for your awareness, so it cannot be part of our training.
Yeah, Santosh.
Hope your question got answered.
Okay, there are. Yeah, thank you. So there are a few
Yes.
questions in the chat window, so I'll read it for you, Raghu. Okay, will training help us to prepare for IBP certification? If yes, will you provide related material?
Okay. So coming to certification, so it's a different. So let me tell you in this way. So for any certification, not just for the IBP or any other certification you take, going through your standard material is an essential exercise what you have to do. But when you are going through your standard materials, understanding or realization of it becomes essential to make yourself comfortable. And this training for sure makes yourself very much comfortable with the topics. So it becomes easier for you to go through your standard materials.
Yeah, in short, I can say like definitely this training is going to be very much helpful, and there is a lot of hands-on required for you guys to understand to answer the queries, because the most of the certifications requires skills like hands-on skills they are going to test it. So 60% of practicality of the things you need to be very much aware of this one, and this particular training always we focus on the practicality of the things, real-time experiences where you are going to get it over here. Okay, and material, of course, yes, we'll be providing on demand. Like if somebody really wants to get the material for SAP this IBP training certification, definitely we can. And there is one more query: is it required to have knowledge of SAP AP or programming to go with this career? Yeah, for IBP.
I would
SAP
say no.
AP, yeah, or programming.
I would
Of
say
course
no,
not.
but if you have it, it's just an added advantage. Yes.
Yeah, APO knowledge is going to be an additional advantage, but there is no need of programming knowledge, I guess.
Not needed at all.
Yeah,
Programming is not
programming
needed.
is absolutely zero. No programming knowledge is required here. Yes, APO is going to be plus point for you guys, but it's not mandatory to go ahead with. Are we going to cover CPIDS and SDI or TI order series in this training? I think this question has been answered already. I am an
Yeah.
SAP PP consultant. Can I directly learn IBP without APO knowledge? Yes, of course you can learn. This answer is indirectly answered. This question also is indirectly answered. So there is no need of conventional knowledge of APO as such, guys. But if you are having APO knowledge, that's going to be a plus point for you. Yeah. So yeah, the mic is open for everyone, guys. So please unmute yourself and you can ask the queries, whichever the queries that you want. Or please raise your hand so that I will be helping you out to manage it. You can see a small icon over there at the bottom, React, where you can see a hand kind of icon. You please click on there. You can raise your hands so that you can take up the question and answers. So more number of queries, more interaction, you'll be getting more understanding. Or if somebody is don't like to speak out over here, they can put it in the chat window as well. They can put their queries in the chat window as well. Is there any more queries, guys? I don't think so. Any queries are there in the chat window. And if the direct interaction you want to have it, we can answer your queries in a better way. Please raise your hands and unmute yourself and come up with your queries.
I see one
So
question.
I
What would
think
be the course duration? It's 35 to 40 hours.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So guys, I was just telling you, like, the course duration is going to be 35 to 40 hours, and tomorrow is going to be the first session, and every one of you are invited to attend the first session, because in the first session we'll be starting directly with the system also. Okay, so tomorrow we'll be seeing the interface and we'll be seeing the first session, so that you'll be
Maybe
getting a
weekend batch.
feel of simulation of like how the how the sessions we are going to take it up. So whether you are catching up Raghu or not, because definitely, because he's a very experienced person. uh yes, can we have the full training contents? Yes, Santosh will be sending you the full training contents in between. Yeah, after this session, or maybe tomorrow, we'll be sending you the full course contents as well, those who are really interested for this to go ahead with. So other thing is like, uh, since Raghu actually working as I want to tell you one more point which I have forgot at the initial level. So Raghu is working like a solution architect here, so he's having very good knowledge. He's a pure APO guy from the beginning. Okay, so then later on he shifted to IBP. Majorly he's working in IBP as a solution architect right now. So he's a very knowledgeable person. You can get his knowledge, his project experiences also in your this particular training batch. So that's really going to be very much advantageous for you guys also. Okay, yeah. So this training is basically going to be on weekends only. That's going to be only on Saturdays and Sundays. uh, we have approximately 2.5 hours on Saturday and 2.5 hours on Sunday. Sometimes based upon your comfort, we even can stretch the time, taking some break in between. Okay, so we'll try to cover approximately 5 to 6 hours, or maybe 7 hours in some of the topics, and we'll try to cover it in within 6 weekends. Okay, 6 to 7 weekends. The whole training we are planning to cover it up, and this is going to be only on the weekends. That's going to be only Saturdays and Sunday evening 7 p.m. IST onwards. Okay, yep. So this is the schedule for this one, and of course, all the recording sessions which we are providing also going to be, shared with you with the material. Like, there is like standard SAP material as well as the customized material by Raghu for configurations and certain standard steps configurations. So everything will be provided to you guys. Yeah, and we have a very good support team also to work with you very closely. Yeah, hopefully in the coming sessions it's going to be very interesting, so that every one of you guys are going to be very much beneficial and really going to gain a lot of knowledge in SAP IBP here. Yeah. So I think if there are no questions, we can conclude the session for the day. IBP demo server access is provided for how long? So usually for 2 months, yes. But you see, like IBP server, since it's a cloud solution, cloud server, the thing is like some people want it and some people don't want it. Okay. Yeah. So the thing is like those who are taking access, along with the access, the course fee, the cost of the training is going to be different along with the server access. Those who are not willing to take the access because they are already working, or they want to just learn the things without being practiced, so they can compromise in terms of fee. The fee will be little less for them. Okay. The course fee and all, definitely we are going to discuss. You can connect with our team, so they are going to discuss, or I'm going to put my number also over here. Okay. So in the chat window, I'm putting my number here, +91 840887822. So this is my number. This the same number is on WhatsApp also. For the people who are outside India, they can even connect me through WhatsApp as well. Okay. So I'll be very happy to answer your queries, even like related with IBP, even related with any administrative aspects. I'll be very happy to answer your queries. So please connect to me also. And the course fee also we can discuss of the sessions based upon how you want it, whether you want it with the uh, server access or without server access. We can have the discussion of the session here. Okay. uh, and training, yeah. So all these questions have been answered. So still you have any one of you are having any queries, guys? Yeah, Dilip, uh,
Yes.
I'm yeah,
What
Dilip, you
are
can.
the systems like let's say when you're connecting the data with the
Mhm.
CPIDS into the demo system, right? So what system you're going to connect? You're going to directly connect the flat files, or are you going to connect to the ECC and or S4 HANA and bring the data into the system when you
Flat
demo
files,
it?
Dilip. Flat
It's always
files.
flat files.
Yeah. We don't
Okay.
connect it to SAP S/4HANA. No.
Okay.
So Dilip, there are certain constraints here. I just want to tell you, because we are having a demo session, and anywhere in the world, if you are going for the training, even SAP is giving the training for this one also. Definitely there'll be flat file simulation only, because S4 HANA system connectivity is going to be little tedious process, and also there are a lot of people involvement is going to be there over here. So this is the constraint, but you'll be getting fair enough of idea. Even after this you are working on S4 HANA, you'll be getting a fair enough of idea, which we'll be discussing with respect to the screenshots and also the other documents, helpful documents, which will be helpful to understand how the process actually is going to be there when we are pulling the data from the source, other source systems.
Yeah, fair enough. And but will you be covering anything connecting CPIDS as a demo to connect to the S4, or is just going to be a more on the theoretical?
Yeah, S4 is not possible, as I told you. So it's
Okay,
going to be, that part is going to be, restricted on the theoretical aspect only. Yeah, because there is a constraint. We don't mind connecting it if you bring the system. Okay, if you're saying, okay, hey, I'm Dilip, I'm this is my system, can you show it on this? Of course, we'll be very happy to show it. But only the constraint is we are trying our best to give you guys as much as we can. Okay, if we have the resources, definitely we'll be very happy to show it over the system also. Yeah,
okay. No, that sounds great. So we'll try to see if we can get the system access and try to share on that day when
sure,
the
sure.
CPIDS comes.
Yes, sure, Dilip. Yeah. So guys, is there anyone else? Please unmute yourself. Because you see, like as many questions you are asking, so those many ideas you'll be getting, like clarity you'll be getting basically. So please come up with the queries, and we'll be very happy to answer your questions. And the same thing we follow in the training sessions also. We are not going to skip any one of your doubts. Unlike other, I don't want to compare us with any other training partners or any other trainers also. We'll try our best. We want to be to serve you the best only here. So in the trainings also, will always be asking you to uh, get more number of queries, so that let's make the session more interactive and more knowledgeable from everyone's perspective, I can say. Yeah.
Sorry, Dilip again here. Just one
Yeah,
more
yeah.
question on the volume. Let's say when we are using flat files, right? So typically, what is the data volume we are working with?
Dealing with, yes.
So
Raghu would be the right
Di-
person to
Dilip,
answer this.
so Dilip, for the realization point of view, we are creating our own flat files. So it's not hugely massed up, but for the realization of data point of view to our planning areas, how do we see the data visualization point of view? We're using flat files. It's not hugely loaded with a lot of records, but it's for quick realization. How can we use the features and functions in that direction?
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, that really, as you said, like it really makes sense, because like if you are using the data file which is having 1 million of records, the same process, or 100,000 records, the same process. Yeah, so we are majorly focusing on the process part over here, the steps we are going to follow, how it's going to go there. Yeah,
Just I'm interested
thank you
in
so
like
much.
more on the permutations and combinations. Like, if you
Okay.
use, more scenarios, right? Like it's a
Yes, sir. Yes,
same
sir.
same
Yes,
same scenario. If you are in, adding, more records is not going to help. But if you have like, different scenario, like let's say, you have
of
more
course.
customers and the more plans and more, materials. So that way it's going to
Mhm.
be like more permutations and combinations, and you will be able to see, different aspects of it.
Agree with you. Totally agree with you, Dilip. So we'll just try to, not try to, we'll be incorporating all these things in our trainings. Yeah, sure, for sure.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, hi, Kalyan
So,
here.
yes, Kalyan.
Yeah, is Excel template configuration is also part of our training.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Excel. Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. It is. Yeah. Excel template configuration, you're saying. Yeah, yeah, it is. All right. So is there anyone else, guys? Okay, if no one is having any queries, so we can conclude the session for the day, and tomorrow we'll start with the first session. So I really request everyone to be there for the first session. At least you'll get the more understanding how it works. Then later in the coming week, you can make your decision for the enrollment process. And on next Saturday, actual enrolled participants are going to be part of our training. Then, yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate your time and your questions. Very, that's really be thankful from our end to you all. Thanks for spending time with us. Thank you so much. And Raghu, I really appreciate your knowledge sharing over here. That's really good to come up with your trainings in future, training sessions in future. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah.
Thank you all.
And if you have any other questions also, please try to connect to me offline. I have pinged my number over there. I'll be happy to answer it. Thank you so much. We conclude the session for the day.